themselves. So maybe let's go in, I don't know, Eric, you wanna introduce yourself first, and then we can go that way. Yeah.
We can
Sure.
keep
Yep.
sorry,
Go
we
ahead.
can just keep the lineup of the movies, so it's Eric.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay, cool. My name's Eric, Eric Chan. I'm a Minneapolis, Minnesota filmmaker. I have touched in a couple of different experience in production and post-production, and currently I also made 2 short films and planning to do another one in the near future. Also, I'm currently working as an editor at a ad agency.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep.
So Tiru, you wanna take the baton?
Sure. Hello, I'm Thiru. I'm from India, basically southern part of India, Tamil Nadu, and I currently live in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I work here as a 3D character artist for some tech companies. But initially, I started this 3D animation as a student, where I was making independent films. I think that's why I'm here. Right now, I'm quite not into independent filmmaking. I'm just working for companies and freelance projects, things like that. But independent filmmaking was like my dream. Someday I will be like going towards that. But the knowledge, whatever I'm accumulating here and there, I'm pretty sure that's going to help moving forward in that line. So yeah.
Thank you, Tiru.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Yavor, am I saying your name correctly?
Yeah, it's Yavor, but yeah, it's like that. So yeah, I'm from Bulgaria originally, and I live in St. Louis, Missouri, in the States for a year now, and I'm just getting started. I mean, figuring out working here and everything. So for the moment, I'm not working on any particular anywhere particularly, but yeah, I'm trying to do things in like independent at the moment. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. And we all know Jano. Do you want to still introduce yourself, or?
Okay, because these guys haven't met me. So yeah, I'm one of the co-founders of INSPIREFLIX and the initiator, one of the initiators and the founders of CineMigrants. And I've been working on filmmaking for 15 years now. And I'm from Hungary as well, as Gabor probably told you. So very close to Bulgaria from the Central Europe. From Budapest, actually, from the capital, and I migrated to different countries. First, that was New Zealand for a year, and then I just came to Australia, and I've been here for 12 years now.
Thank you, Jano. All right, so let's get into the films a little bit. So Eric, would you like to tell us about your film? You know, where did the idea come from? How the process was like? If you can just tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, Agente Secret it's about a father and son relationship through their daily routine, in which the father is trying to shelter his son and preventing him from seeing the horror of the outside world. But as time goes on, when his son are growing up, you start realizing the world that how his father portrayed him in is not how it really is. And it's kind of that struggles, that type of thing that immigrants has to kind of have to do that when they're talk to their kids and stuff, and when the world is so not so pleasant, and how do you present it in a kid's standpoint. And I originally had this idea a couple years ago during a new presidency, and I saw a lot of political climate was changing during that time. And I did it mostly. I didn't do it basically on an Asian American experience because I don't want it mainly on that purpose. I want to switch into a different point of view because I feel like immigrants all had it pretty bad in general, and I just want to shift the point of view into a different
Okay.
ethnicity. So and I was, in a way, I was just trying to say this is gonna, in a way, it's kind of predicting what's still happening right now to the Mexicans, immigrant, and what is happening in the past couple of years. So I didn't expect it to be something like that. It was something that was filmed way before all of this was happening, and I was just trying to tell a story, and that's basically what I was going for.
Yeah, it is a universal experience, isn't it? I think for migrants all around the world, I guess. We also saw another parallel with Janos to another film. I'm not sure if you have ever seen it. I think it's a French or Italian.
Italian. It's Robert Benigni's
Oh.
film. Life is Beautiful. It's a different.
Yes.
Okay, you know that.
I drew comparison from a little bit from that, actually. The biker's thief, the relationship of father and son, pursuit of happiness, the beautiful life. That was all. I just want to tell a father and son relationship.
Like living in a hostile environment, but the father really wants his son to make believe that it's a nice or beautiful world.
Right.
And this kind of line goes to the other movies, like the question of the perception, how we
perceive it,
perceive the world. Like even if I'm talking about Taru's movie or the other one, the Bridge, Yavor's movie. So it's the word is completely different that we can actually see it. Jump onto Taru's movie. So how the idea came up to your mind?
So this was a group project. So me and another artist called Vandra Liu. So she's a Chinese-based artist. And we both finished this project in like 10 weeks as a part of our MFA school program. So as far animation filmmaking is concerned, it's like keep it as simple as possible because of the amount of work and the steps we have to do in animation filmmaking is like sometimes it might be overwhelming, especially when it comes to like independent filmmaking. There are lots and lots of work to take care of. So the first initial pre-production, like we discussed a lot of stories, but the stories were like complicated. So at last we landed in a very simple, witty, a comedy kind of story, which is so we can concentrate more on the animation art instead of nailing the scripting and screenplaying stuff. So we would really like to keep it as simple as possible so we can explore the animation art more. So that was the basic idea because this was the first film. And the collaboration between me and Vandru were like, she is more of a Chinese-based artist. She wants her way of texturing, her colors, her designs were like quite different from what I do. So we really have to like find a middle point, like where both of our design knowledge is going to like merge together. So initial days of pre-productions were we really did a lot of trial and errors, and we also just had 10 weeks to finish this project complete, and which includes music and sound and everything together. So it was a challenging one, but again, we made sure the story is as simple as possible, make sure the comedy works, and the process where like animation has like a lot of technical branches to it. So like the paper level design, then when it comes to computer art, we have to like divide things like modeled avatars, like paint it, like texture it, and we have to light the scene. So whatever we do in a real filmmaking, which
It's
that
like
was kind.
making you do everything that a normal filmmaker does, but you also have to create the characters and the
Yeah,
the
everything.
background, everything.
But
And
we
I
had
think
to like
it's
do,
it's really good to keep it simple for anything
yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
So yeah, that everything has to be done through a computer. So
Yeah.
and yeah, like the basic filmmaking process was like uh, we kind of like explored how to get the maximum out of it from the time and the resource what we had. So yeah, the result was I felt it was quite successful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, as the result concerned, it was. Yeah, and
So
jump to the third movie, The Bridge. What I'd like to tell, first of all, that it's a little bit. We already discussed with one of our third sort of member of our jury, the member of the jury who actually decided which film has to be in the lineup. And he's coming, this guy is from Middle Eastern Europe, one of the Middle Eastern European countries. And he was telling that The Bridge is actually holding a little bit of idea that is already composed in someone's mind who is coming from Bulgaria or Hungary or Czech Republic, because how we've seen the westernized word before.
Yeah, we
or how,
ourselves.
yeah. So tell us, how did it come to be?
Yeah, that was the idea. I mean, what happens to a person that she has her whole world set in motion, and she's got it all. She knows it all. For her sister, she's gonna come here and she's gonna study in Cambridge, and well, the little sister just disappears the very first night they're out, and what happens to this girl? How does she deal with everything that's been shattered within one evening? So that's basically the movie. And
it's very powerful. That's for sure.
yeah, it wasn't easy to film. I want to say because first, like, I had to give up a part of the script, which we just didn't have time. I mean, although we were helped, like it was made with the support of the Bulgarian National Film Center. I mean, it didn't have that much budget, so we could spend more time in London to actually do everything I wanted to. So I had to work
How
with
long?
what
How much time did you have to do it?
yeah, and not only how much time, how difficult it was to get the permission to film.
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, after it was confirmed. After it was confirmed that that we get that support from the film center, I immediately started to work. I mean, the initial idea was to film in New York. But then my producer, we made some calculations, and it just did not. And we decided London is another city like that, and also a city that I love and I know, because I used to live there for almost 2 years, and we decided to do it there. So it took maybe over 2 months to get all the permissions and everything to be confirmed. Like me, I had to go there for location scouting, but then we only had 6 days, including the arrival and departure date. We literally shot the very first day on the way from the airport and on the way to the airport on the way back in the middle of the night. Like all the, you remember these these shots in the night city of London, when they're just driving around. This is actually shot on the way to the airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see
Yeah,
me?
you're
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
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 And
Wow.
Yeah.
so yeah, it was difficult. And then in Bulgaria, suddenly I only had like 2 days to shoot whatever, all the interiors I was supposed to.
Mhm.
And there was a lot more, not a lot more, but I wanted to shoot something.
Compromises, huh?
Yeah, I had to deal with, I had to give up some things that I had in mind, like details. And so, yeah, that's going to be a bit of a regret. Although I think I try to make the best from what I had already. And I love both actresses. Like the girls, they're not even professional actresses.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And she actually used to live in London, the Gloria, the big one. So, but yeah, I love the experience. If I had the opportunity at the time, I would have done some things a little different. But yeah, that's what I can say. As for the inspirations, it took a long curve. I mean, it was a story I read about Sonora, Mexico, and two girlfriends, they go there to spend the night. And there's this story from 1996 for about 3 years of these women disappearing and being found killed and wrecked in the same way. So it was something I read about, somehow stayed in my mind, and I adapted it for, two Bulgarian girls going to London, because put it more into a context where I'm from. So yeah, that's what I can say about the film.
Very, very good. So as you have mentioned that you had help from the Bulgarian Film Center, which is really good to hear. We always love when people are supported. There will be definitely more.
They give.
Sorry?
25,000 euro they give.
Yeah.
Every session, there's like 8 short films that are being supported by the Bulgarian National Film Center in 2 sessions during the year, and each one gets, so it's 4 films per session, and each one gets about that 20 to 20,000.
And how competitive is how competitive to get that in Bulgaria for anyone who is Bulgarian and would like to apply? Is it a very difficult thing?
It is very competitive. Because I don't know, Hungary, I think the budget for the Hungarian equivalent of the National Film Center is a lot bigger. Like Bulgaria is one of the lowest. I think they give about 6 million per session, which is between 11 and 12 million leva, which is 6 million euro per year for everything, like feature film, short films, documentary films, animation, everything. And so it's very competitive. I think when I applied and we won, there was about 25 plus minus about 25 other short film projects.
Okay. And how about the other guys, Eric or Tiru? Did you guys have any support from any agency, or did you apply? Did you try to get any support? Or
I'll go first. I personally, I did not. It's mostly self-funding myself. I tried to go to see if there's any other funding, but I think I kind of want to shoot it as soon as possible, because I was also getting a new job at that time. Beforehand, I was unemployed in a way, so I was like, okay, cool, I can make a movie. But then I'm like, okay, now I have to work now. I'm like, I need to get this movie in and film this. And I didn't say it was shot in 3 days. Pre-production a long time, but like it was shot in 3 days, and then post for a long time with sound design and all that stuff. In total, it was more self-funding, but it turned out really good. And a lot of my crew members, they were the best I couldn't ask for any better crew, and they were the best on doing this and doing it for
And
me.
are there opportunities where you live for independent filmmakers that you could sort of apply for short films?
Um, they are there, but it's not widely known. But and there's also like it has a lot of different type of requirements, and and I also feel like there's snow baits and there are different rebates and stuff, but those I feel like are mostly bigger budget people and more feature length stuff. And not a lot of short, I believe, at this
Yeah.
very moment. But yeah.
Okay. How about you, Tira? What have you found?
As animation filmmakers, like we really do not have to get permission because it's all computer, but all we have to get is like license for the softwares, which is the most expensive ones nowadays. It's
Okay.
a good 3D packages, a compositing package, and all those tools we have to buy for doing an animation filmmaking. It's quite an expensive one. But in our case, since this is a student film, I think our school fees took care of it. So, so yeah. So,
Okay. So your school did your school provide you the software and things like that, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our lab has like the most equipped computers for both 2D and 3D animations. So yeah, all we have to like worry about is how to pay the fee, and not worry about the rest. So
Okay.
I do want to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. But if you really want to be a professional animation filmmaker, of course, yes. The amount of budget you have to think in terms of licensing, storaging of footage, animation files. Those things are really getting like massive nowadays. It's not easy to fund an animation project at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to follow up with saying there's a lot of like as shooting permits. Those aren't free. So to like certain things in my films that it's kind of like, oh, I didn't expect you have to pay for that. Like going in front of the store, I actually have to talk to the owner and actually like, can we actually film all that in that area and use your store as the front, and then shooting at the park. It's not easy in the cities in Minneapolis, in which you can just go and shoot without paying a certain amount of money to do
Oh,
so.
see, yeah. So does the
So
city charge you for like the parks, or is
yes,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to purchase a shooting permit. And St. Paul and Minneapolis are pretty expensive, and I said it's a very low budget that I have.
Yeah.
So I had to switch a couple of times to like, oh, like my cinematographer was like, oh, I really like this, but like we couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford shooting at this one. So, and I had to thank like the city of Hopkins. They charge were very low. They were super helpful. They were super like, yeah, absolutely. Just let us know how you want us to help you. And yeah, and we just shot there with no problems, and it was great. But we
Yeah,
did.
it's a good tip, I think, to keep shopping around, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, I always whenever I look for locations, you know, you only need something that fits into that little frame. So you know, just move around, look around, and you'll find. I mean, obviously, it would be nice to get like some of the big, you know, establishing shots, like for example, Yavor. You know, you had some.
In this regard, London is crazy. Like everywhere you shoot, it's a different home. How do you go? County office equivalent. Different municipalities. I mean, for instance, if you want to shoot on this side of the Thames, the river, or on the other side, and want to see the Tower Bridge, let's say, you have to go to different places.
Yeah.
I mean. So I was lucky in this because the central film office who deals with, I mean, you send all the requests to them so they know, and to the local municipality. So yeah, they helped a lot with.
Okay.
But that's, and basically, if I wanted to see something else from the same point that my camera is, that I had to write to other different people, like
That's crazy. But back to one of your sentences when you were telling us that, or admitted that one of the shots was taken on the way from the airport to the city and was used in a different sequence in the movie, of course. But actually, that gives that perspective as a filmmaker for myself, that you can actually really use what you can see like for the first time, and
you make it
that, and to make it better, and make it that feeling that you are there. So I really love that one of the shots. But anyway, back to the actors, and you know, I really loved the boy in Eric's movie. So the boy was so natural that I really was happy with for him.
I do want to say the father and sons are actually father and son in real life.
Okay.
They are actually father and son in real life.
And before you do, I just really wanted to praise the actress in the bridge. I know that she is not a professional, but she could be anytime.
And started like right after the bridge. Right after the bridge, I mean, she already had been cast for bigger movies and probably abroad, I don't know, but now she's quite known. Like she was in this major TV series in Bulgaria, and she's doing very well.
Yeah.
But I'm one of the first one who like discovered, not discovered her, but pretty.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you have discovered her, definitely.
You can tell her.
Because you know, I'm pretty sure the direction was there too, you know, like you gotta, because the performance was, you know, someone has to bring out that performance, I think. So, you know, and that goes to you. What was it like? Like some of those harder, you know, when you can see that she's drained and all that stuff, like.
Very easy to work with. It's like how do you say that? She's like she's so intuitive, like something like a sponge quality. Like the moment you try to explain to her the way you want it to be, or anything, basically, she just keeps looking you in the eye and does it. And then if you add something, she just like takes from your energy and does it even better than you anticipated. Really, it was something. Because I've worked with a lot of actors in theater also. I mean, she was one of the easiest people to work with, and she also delivered sometimes even much better than professional actresses with a lot of experience, like
talent.
So the story of the son and the father, please. Eric?
They they're actually father and son. When I was casting, it was I had a lot of different people coming in for audition, and during that time, it just suddenly both of them were coming in. I just saw their chemistry together. It was really nice. Defino and Adrian, the boy is not really used to doing feature films, because he's more of a he does a lot of ads, a lot of just Target stuff, a lot of different commercial things. So this is a upper for him to actually explore a little bit more into the films and drama and narrative in parts. But yeah, it was definitely fun. The father was super great. The son is super nice, and they both take direction great. And again, as I said, if your actors are great, you make the director's job really easy. That's I just, you know, like, because it's definitely a 50-50 type of thing. I give them 50, they give me 50. It's just, that's 100% right there. So
very true.
And back to Taru's story, whose idea was that that kind of turning idea, like the switch at the end?
So yeah, that idea was from Andrew Liu, because the initial plot, what we were telling, okay, it's almost going to be a 3-minute film. So let's tell something and let with the joke at the very end. So that was the structure we initially planned. Yeah, so when she turns, she's a bit different than what is expected is her idea. And then I was like, well, let's not end the film there. Let's say why it becomes like that. So that would be another wittier part. Maybe we can keep that at the end of the credits. So we said like, okay, don't overnature things. You know, that might screw things up. So that little part was added by me, I guess. So, but as far animation is concerned, of course we have to act it out. So it's like we divided each shot who's going to animate which shot, and for each shot we really have to act it out and get our body language that we can apply to the character itself. So yeah, a kind of acting is involved for us while doing animation films too.
Is it often, I love animation. I'm not sure if you have seen, there is a show which was created by a YouTuber actually, I mean, was initiated by him. It's called Final Space. It's on Netflix, bit of a plug for them. I love it for two reasons, because one is an independent guy, you know, the actual creator. It's just, you know, he was a YouTuber, and you can find the original drawings that he did, like very bad drawings, you know, like 2D, you know, kind of thing. And what eventually it got picked up. He pitched it, it got picked up, big budget. So it's a big animation thing. And I think they did like a behind the scenes video on there, and I saw what they did is, I think each character has an animator, and then they're sort of like, as you said, like acting it out and really working on that. So is that always the case for animation?
Yeah, that's the case. Like I worked in a studio recently for a movie. The movie just got released. The name of the movie is The Witches by Annie Hathaway. I think it got released last week in HBO Max. So I worked in the visual effects department, and in the studio we have different rooms just for the animators to act it out. You know, the cameras are set up in the angle what they want, and they help each other shooting the shot itself. The first thing what they do is like read the script, they go act it out first, and from there they judge the body language, and the key poses for the characters would be mostly determined from there. So the animation exaggeration might happen down in the process, but the initial step to move forward is to act it out.
Yeah, so that's how it comes to life, basically, the first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really love those, you know, all the feedback that we are having from you regarding the, you know, making an animation, because these guys, all the others, are working either on documentaries or feature films, and it's a completely different world. So thanks for the secrets of the workshop of animation, because this is one of the first animations that we actually had in our lineup so far. A little bit about the director's mind, and I'd like to start with maybe Javor, okay, and then we are going to Eric's movie. That the directors, who is the biggest influential director in your work? Because I can see that the bridge is like directors who are coming into my mind, like Tarkovsky or David Lynch, who are you know, who is seeing the time of the film.
My directors.
Sorry?
Yeah, these are two of my favorite directors. Yeah.
Actually, it's quite obvious.
Can tell, yeah.
Looking at your movie with that distinctive visual style, you can tell.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, Tarkovsky's probably, yeah, I love Tarkovsky. David Lynch, from the living directors, David Lynch, like David Fincher, but these are completely different areas. And
Yeah.
so when I made my feature, I only have one, like a debut feature 6 years ago. Everybody compared it to Wong Kar-wai.
Mm.
Okay.
I was even a little embarrassed, like it showed so much that. But yeah, I would say Tarkovsky and David Lynch definitely. But there are many. There's so many good directors. Like even the Hungarian. It's a woman, Eldiko something. Her movie won.
Ildiko Enyedi, yes.
Enyedi, yeah, of Body and Soul. That was a beautiful film.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful, and I met her. She was the president of the jury in Sofia Film Fest a few years ago, and there's so many directors that I guess have been influenced consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah, but I really love the fact that you guys able to deliver the same sort of distinctive visual in a short movie, you know, because you don't have a feature length time, you don't have the feature length budget, but still.
Yeah,
Well,
timing is much harder in a short, for sure, to give that same kind of feel.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I was planning the movie to be no more than 35 minutes. It actually ended up being 40, and this is with some scenes cut from the script. But yeah, I had a very good talk with my director of photography, who is quite established, and we used some reference images, and I'm very happy that actually looks the way I wanted it to look. I mean,
Yeah, I loved your cinematographer's work because the entire movie was shot in dark, and that's definitely not easy. Yeah,
very difficult.
Technically it was really, really nice to see, like the clarity of the images what he brought in with the very low lights. It's really challenging.
We could also afford the Arri Alexa mini camera, which is great. Comparing to this, like Eric's case right now, since I'm in the United States, I just shot a short film over 5 nights, like only nights. I'm shooting outside on a rooftop of garage parkings. This is completely independent, no support, like no financing from anywhere. I was just waiting for my working papers here in the United States. So I'm trying to write and come up with ideas, and I ended up shooting this film with a Blackmagic, which I got, and the experience is completely different. But you learn a lot more, because even though we had this budget for the bridge, there were so much more restrictions when you have a producer and timeline, and whereas working independently, okay, I need to reshoot, and you find a way to actually pay the actors something else, and make it. You have the freedom to decide for yourself and keep on. So yeah, working on I'm editing right now this new thing. So that's the opposite way a short film was done. So
excellent. We can't wait to see it. Make sure you submit it when it's ready.
I'm planning to have it ready by New Year. So definitely.
I love movies that are shot at night, because the lighting and it's completely different type of lighting system.
It was very tricky.
Yeah, that's great. Definitely want to check that out when it's out.
Yeah, curious.
Can I ask? Like, I would like to go into a little bit into the experience of like being a migrant filmmaker. Like, I think with all of your films, we can see that you have traveled the world, right? Been to a few different places, or at least I guess all filmmakers have by default sort of like a broader view of the world, because we watch lots of films and follow a lot of different creators around. But you know, in your individual experiences, like what, how do you see this? Like, do you recognize the fact that you have a different kind of point of view than someone who has never really moved outside of their own little, you know, town? What do you think, Eric? I'm not sure how long you've been living there, or what your, you know, surroundings.
I would say I'm born in America.
Yeah.
But I was born in San Francisco and lived there for 10 years, and then I moved to Minnesota when I was 10.
No.
So I moved into the heartlands and actually saw the idea of being, I didn't see myself as like I do feel the sense of loneliness, because I moved from a place where there are a lot of Chinese Asians, a minority, but when with me they were the majority, but then when I came to Minnesota I was the minority. So I have that sense of loneliness, and from the loneliness I kind of spread out to learn other things about myself, about America, about everything. You could say I'm like a culture nerd. I just love learning about cultures. I love learning about how things work and why things, civilizations, and how things, and movies is another way to do that. Criterion Collections is a great collection because it doesn't just pinpoint a certain country's work. It has so many different people from so many different countries, from Japan to Europe, Hungary, France, Czech Republic, India. It's so fast that because of that, it allows me to see the world that so many different point of view, and because of that, it allows me to see, to be more open about things, and because I don't truly believe that you have to travel the world a lot to get that point of view. I believe it's mostly in your mind and in your heart, and how much willingness you are to do things like this and actually learn and actually watch and see people's point of view from different people's point of views.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Especially these days, we don't have to necessarily travel,
Right.
but just be
I would
open.
like to. I would definitely like to. Don't get me wrong. I just don't have the money to go around.
Yeah, and also your decision to actually, you know, not do the film about you know, your own culture, but to switch it to some. That's a very interesting thing too.
And very brave as well. Like, you know, leaving behind my own heritage, for example, just and experience someone else's situation.
Because I feel like story is universal.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, because my first film was from my point of view, and I felt like it wasn't fair, because I kind of saw myself in it, and I'm like, it's not, in my opinion, I don't really like it. I personally don't like it. And because of that, I'm like, I need to tell a story. It doesn't have to be about the Asian American experience. But again, I'm not attacking other people to do that. By all means, do it. For me, I need to explore myself as an artist. There is so many different ways to tell stories. And animation is one way, documentary is another way, narrative is another way, short films is another way. And I believe if you can, and Parasite, the recent movie Parasite, Bo Chin-ho directed this. Doesn't matter because it was universal. People watch it and they can see it.
Yeah.
That's why it won an Oscar for Best Picture, in my opinion. That's, you know, it's because of that people can still relate it. It doesn't have to be, oh, it's a Korean film. It has nothing to do with it. It's a film. It has a story. It has a message. And if it relates to you, great. And that's what I like about movies. We shouldn't be in our minds just like, oh, it's an Asian film, or oh, it's an English film, or a European film. Doesn't matter. It's a story. If it relates to you, it relates to you. If it doesn't relate to you.
Yeah, that's right. And I think I like your point that stories are universal. I mean, that's why I am, with INSPIREFLIX, that's what I believe is people sharing their own little experiences. And I hope that eventually others can see the similarities, because we often think, it's different if you're Indian or Chinese or Russian or whatever, it's different. But the actual individual experience of living this life and the struggles, the happiness, the sorrow, it is all very, very similar. And if you choose to leave everything behind and go and test yourself in whatever way, even if it's just changing your profession or just going to another country or another city, it will always be, the challenges will be very similar.
I do want to say, like, if we're filmmakers, our problems are very similar. Like, as an independent filmmakers, we will all go through very similar things of being a hungry artist. We're not Scorsese, we're not George Lucas, we're not Steven Spielberg, we're not those great directors. But even when they do, they still have to go through the hoops to get their movie made too. But not as hard as we have to do it, but they still do. But I feel like filmmakers, we all go through the same ideas and
it's just the tricks and troubles just become more complicated. And
exactly.
That's it.
But it's a relevant question in my mind, like what Eric was just a little bit touched, or he touched it already, that how the filmmaker itself in his or her movie, how the filmmaker's story or the filmmaker's life, how deeply involves into the film. So like in the situation of The Bridge, for example, because just experienced a new life, emigrated to the United States from Bulgaria, I can see some parallel sort of topics, and probably the same applies to Tiru's movie, that maybe the same sort of experience happened in his life.
Exactly. Like, as I said, my co-filmmaker for this movie is a Chinese. So when we are really working on the style and the visual development, how the film is going to look like what colors are going to dominate. When we are exploring this, it was completely different. Like her way of approaching art and design, the colors, what she was using versus mine was like it's totally different. Of course, we came up to some solution. Definitely, there is no middle point in this. It's all about like accepting others. So that's what happened in this film. But later in the stage, I made another independent film, which is completely an independent film, just me. I took 1 year, finished the complete film, which is I did the own designs, colors, everything of my choice. When I compare these two films, I really feel a big difference art-wise, visual-wise, design and style-wise, because the collaborated project really brings out what you are inside, like what practice that you have been so far, your cultural reflection, the way you see colors and choose color. What do you mean when you say red? What do you mean when you say blue? Completely changes. It depends on your ethnicity, I guess. But yes, as Eric said, story is universal. Everybody could relate. Of course, even if the language is different, subtitles help nowadays. So it's a give and take. But when collaborating with different cultural artists, I really don't see a word called middle ground. There is no middle ground at all. It's just about accepting each other. Just because.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
I often say like 1 + 1 + 1 = 5. So it's in a good sort of team, it's that's how it should work, and it usually is the case, because we bring the best out of our you know. And yes, so it's really good to see all these various different collaborations, and then how we tap into other. I wanted to ask Tiru, is this your first migration? Like when you moved to America? That's a big step, isn't it?
That's really a big step, because nearly for like 27, I came to US around at my age, like 27. Until that, I was in India. I haven't been even to the northern part of India. Like I was just self-centered in my home city, in and around. I went to a college to a different city, which again, there was no much cultural or language difference there.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I really wanted a break. I worked in some animation industry for big gaming companies and small studios in India. At some point, I really felt it like it's so saturated, and I definitely need a break. So let's go out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I got the opportunity to do my master's in New York. So which was a big shift. I was like, okay. So
how was that experience?
it was really, everything was different. Let's say, for example, the weather. I'm basically from the hottest part of the earth. You know, like the climate in my place is like very hot. Versus I go to Rochester, New York, which is next to Niagara. I would say it's the crazy cold throughout the year. Like the kind of snow that you see there, it's like it's insane. So that's good for me. Like, of course, there are other differences, like cultural differences. Food was completely different. Everything was different, but still, nothing concerned me. Whenever I saw the snow and stuff, I was like, okay, how are we going to get out today? Like, I even brought a car after coming here. The first month when I came here, there was no snow or nothing like that. So I bought a car. After that, yeah, I made like a lot of what to say, like uh, uh, some snappy animations driving my car on the street itself. Yeah, everything was completely different.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it, to get out of the
But
yeah.
to be honest, I'd say this: American people, like right from my friends and professors, very friendly, very friendly. Otherwise, I don't think I would have crossed that first 6 month phase. It was really tough for me. So they're very friendly and helpful, and guided me along. Okay, this is what to be done. In this case, do this and not do this. You know, like very straightforward, clear answers help me proceed so long. Yeah,
gave you some stability in the new.
yes.
Yeah, that's always good when people and that's what I find wherever I lived is the everyday people are, you know, they're same, they're helpful, and they're you know, trying to do their best. So
and what's your experience, Yavor, because you are just a recent migrant in the States? Are you here?
Yeah, well, no, I agree. Definitely, traveling gives you a lot of perspective, because sometimes when you stay too long in the same place, and you're trying to and you are involved in the everyday reality of this one place, like I'm talking, let's say, Bulgaria, and you try to make movies about that. That's a little dangerous, because you might end up trying to get your movie around the current actuality. For instance, there's a lot of social struggle in Bulgaria. There's protests going on, and the most recent movies that are considered successful for some Bulgarian filmmakers and they go around most of the festivals, they always depict some problem that we're solving in Bulgaria. And that of course, some of them are good, some of them not. I'm not happy with the idea of because these are things that pass and change all the time. So that's why I like traveling. I like the perspective and to have different points of view. So yeah, I actually this helps me a lot. I can say for myself, traveling. United States is different. But the thing is, we always have to find the universal point of view in a movie. So
it's a little bit hard to hear you. Yeah, but I think we all got what you were saying, and yes, the more universal we can make our film, I guess the more wider audience we can influence with it. So that's always a good way to be, a good way to go.
Real and keep it.
Yeah. You're breaking up.
Point of view. Oh, I'm sorry. Just have a bad reception here.
Yeah. So it's all right.
That's okay.
So, Jano, you have any other questions or things that you wanted to touch on your list of things?
I raised a couple already.
Yeah, I know.
I have any.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I really have to tell you guys that I enjoyed all the movies, and congratulations. And yeah, and I just it's hard to tell, but sometimes we feel of course we are struggling all the time. We've been struggling being a filmmakers. So how what's the tool? How you guys personally survive when it's really deep, when you are in a really big hole?
Yeah, that's a great question.
And you really have to believe that what you are doing is going somewhere.
Yeah, what's your personal
survival kit?
Survival kit. Yeah. Who wants to start? Maybe Eric, you wanna start?
I would say my survivor kit is, as always, movies. Watching movies. Because to be honest, I'm grew up by movies. My parents own a video rental shop. I watch movies every day. I don't go to school, I watch movies. When I go to sleep, I watch movies. That's why I come here. That's why I'm in this field, is because I watch movies. Because I love stories. I love, to the point that I love creating stories. Because it makes my life feel like I'm not the only one who has the same problems.
Yeah.
These people on screen, sometimes they have a good ending, sometimes has a bad ending, but we all have these ups and down days, and we have to find ways to think of ways to put those down days into different things, or talk it out, or talk to people, spread it, share it, instead of keeping it to ourselves. Because I feel like it's much easier for us to just do it by ourselves and just shelter ourselves. But it's more important for us as a human being to share these type of things, to make sure even if we're sad, we can at least be sad together, and when we're happy, we can also be happy together. And I think that those are very important, and that's what movies can do. That movie gather us together, watching it virtually, even now. Any way we can do it, it makes us feel, it makes us happy, it makes us sad, it makes us mad, it makes us scared. And that's the power of films. And that's why I always feel like films, despite it might sound cliche, because my life is film. Films is part of my life. Like, I have a slogan. It was literally called "Birth, Movie, and Death." That's everything. That's it. So.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's a good script and a good toolkit. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally. Do you guys hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes, like in today's real life, sometimes it's a lot harder to find more bigger emotions, like deeper emotions, or more of a kind of a traumatic emotional experience in real life. It's more difficult to find rather than in movies. Like traumatic, I mean not as a trauma, but like something really moving, like making you think, feel on a higher, deeper level. So that's what movies do, and yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it help us to dig deeper, isn't it? And to
Yeah,
maybe face our own feelings, because a lot of us just sort of trying to
yeah.
be a robot.
It also
So
gives us a
many,
different point of view.
Yeah.
yeah, so many different scenarios that can move you emotionally in ways that you wouldn't expect otherwise in what you in your environment in real life.
Hmm.
Hmm.
How about you, Tiru?
Mm.
What is your toolkit right now
Uh,
in America?
so mostly like I try to do something which I had never done before. That's my toolkit. That really gives a different experience. Put you in an excitement state, especially when you're like deep down. So yeah, I would always like either it could be a software, or it could be a drawing, or it could be cooking something new, or trying a different restaurant. I do some different thing which I have never done before. Yeah, I mean that's my survival kit. Like I learned something from it. Sometimes it will put you down more deeper, but still I will try again and do something else much more different. But yeah, my survival. Yeah, usually like I really don't want to like go back to the same routine, do things what I do. That will definitely depress me more. So
Uh-huh.
I'll just keep things away and try something else new. In which I mean, these are the deep down times are the ones where I really found myself very efficient. My learning curve was good. I explored a lot of new things. Uh, yeah, that really helped me like to not only to come out of it, even those skills what I learned during that time helped me to push things forward and move forward. Uh, yeah, yeah, it helps you develop new skills. Uh, yeah, that's my survival kit
Yeah, that's a
usually.
great survival kit as well, I think.
It is.
What is so yeah, what you agreed, obviously films, but do you have something else as well? How you deal with the everyday life right now?
Oh, I
You're breaking up terribly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Even,
maybe we'll wait for Javor to get into a better reception. I think I'm gonna mute him if I can. Can I do that? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I already did it.
yeah. So, Jano, what is your survival kit? Do you
oh,
right now?
now.
oh, he's back. Maybe.
No, he's not back. It's just that one word or one sentence takes 10 minutes to come through on the on the. Okay, so Jano, what is your toolkit?
Yeah, our survival kit is quite similar to these guys that we actually created INSPIREFLIX, the inspirational uh, channel. I mean, inspirational movies on a particular channel, which is that kind of challenge, giving us everyday hope, and always something new. And
Yeah.
CineMigrants is a new adventure for us as well. And of course, creating movies always. So I love when I'm either even if I'm shooting something new or just working as a post-production like editing, it's a completely different world for myself. So just sitting in that world, actually it's giving me a safe environment to be happy, you know what to see how it progress, how it goes or develops, and then showing what we think about our smaller world, or how we see this world. And watching movies, of course, it's always giving me a beautiful night or afternoon whenever I have time to do that. So I agree, and probably that is very universal among for all of us, that we feel the same sort of things, but sometimes going over the struggles that we are experiencing whenever we are trying to produce our products, the films, giving me really hard time. So I have to tell that it's really challenging. Come through the weekdays, so to speak.
Excellent. All right, let's try.
Javor is back.
Yeah, let's try Javor again. Oh, sorry.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, but I think yeah, I can. Yeah, good. So let's try it again.
Okay, I think this is better. Yeah, for me, my everyday life now. Well, basically, I'm trying to finish a couple of scripts I'm working on. One short, one long, actually 2 long scripts, feature script. I'm researching grants, ways to finance it independently. Well, yeah, that's my everyday life. Besides trying to find a job like that, to pay the bills for.
Yeah.
So yes, it's basically just keeping it busy and keeping the projects moving forward, isn't it?
Exactly, and doing some editing jobs for friends, people here, music video here and there, just lowers here. So that's pretty much my everyday life right now.
Yeah. Your toolkit is work. Yeah, and I think that's my toolkit. To be honest, is I just work nonstop, and if I don't have anything to do, then I'll just look at my task lists, and it has usually 200-300 things on there, so it's easy to just pick one. And I think in terms of coping, what I like to do is because I have the creative, the filmmaking side of things, so I can shoot and edit, but I also have this entrepreneurial kind of thing, so I can work on these projects. And then also I do a little bit of coding, not much, just what we need, for the various platforms, or, I like to get into a bit of the artificial intelligence kind of field, trying to do the transcribing, for example, for our films to be automated, and little projects like this, things that I have never done before. Same to Tiro. So these always very helpful. And I think I've recently heard somebody was talking about like depression and anxiety, and they were saying that in the brain there are a few sort of major segments, and I think the default mode network is the one that what gets turned on if you just work, like you're digging a hole or something. Then it actually is impossible for your brain to be in depressed state while you're actually digging a hole or something like that. And it's being proven apparently. And so the guy was saying, just do something, which I understand. When you're in like deep dark hole, it's almost impossible to do. But I would always add yes, do something, but do something that matters. And I think one thing that we all do is we do something for others. Because whether it's our films or things that we work on is, you know, it's our art, but we're talking to the audience, and it's really, that's the part that, you know, we're teaching them, we're opening their eyes, or we sharing, you know, a different idea to them. And I think that's what fuels the fire for me, as anyways, in terms of creating more and then being in this field of art. Yeah, so definitely big thumbs up to all of you for doing what you're doing, and, you know, keep on going and keep on trialing and testing the limits. Yeah, I think
I want to say thank you so much for creating something like this that allows me to meet so many of you guys, because this is the reason. This allows us to see different people's point of view and their work and their background. So
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for you guys.
I
And
mean,
You're very welcome.
Thank you too. Thank you. Yeah, great meeting you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
this
think
is-
it's important also to thank you guys, because you're, you know, open your mind and submitted your film. You did what you did. And we're actually we've been talking about a on-demand section of CineMigrants, where we can, if whoever has shown their films, or if they have films that they want to put on there, it's something that we're working on, to enable a library of on-demand content, which will be a revenue share as well. So, you know, whatever, I mean, we don't have that many subscribers yet, but we're working on it, and we will get more. And then that way we would like to, depending on the plays that each film gets, you know, the creators will get that share from the total revenue. So there's lots of new ways, and we're always open to new ideas. You know, if any of you have anything that you know, is interesting, and yeah, so
That's great. This is a brilliant idea, Gabor. And but
agree.
the CineMigrants, yeah, it's really a great idea, and I wish you all the luck.
Yeah, thank you.
yeah,
And
You
we'll
also
contribute.
Yeah, you inspired me to,
contribute
like,
and
I need to make more films now. I need to,
Excellent.
you know, get on to
Good.
this. It makes
Yeah.
me feel like, hey, there are people wanting to watch my
Yeah.
stuff. So it's
Exactly.
always an inspiring thing, like, hey, maybe I should do more films, or just short, just to get them out there, just
Yeah,
to,
I
you
think
know, go into the
short is definitely a good way to go, because, you know, attention span is not that great, and we need, you know, people need your films, you know, all of yours, and your point of view. And with short, it's a shorter process, so you can do more, you know. I often, whenever I get approached by somebody to do like a feature-length documentary on their project or their idea or whatever, I always say, let's make 10 short documentaries, you know, not one feature-length. Like, who's gonna nowadays sit down and watch for 2-3 hours, you know? And then we can also test the waters, you know. So yeah, even if you guys have like big, longer ideas, you know, break it down to little bits, little segments. Like, how would you do it? I often think about it this way, like, how would I do this as a TV series, right? How about that idea is a season, and then break it down to, you know, 10 to 21 little segments, and let's make it like that. And then therefore you can keep on moving forward. And if you keep on moving forward, you're you know, you're living. Yes.
Absolutely.
And thanks for like opening this for like, I mean, you're open to all genres, because that's
Yeah.
really a good thing, because film festivals are genre specific mostly. So
Yeah.
you're like open to
Yeah.
everything, and that's really a good thing. Maybe I should also start doing an independent film. Like, it's been a while since I did
Yeah.
around 5 years. I was just working for others. So maybe
You can,
it's
we
really
can work
inspiring.
together.
Yeah,
we can
you
all
guys
work
can
together
also
here.
collaborate.
Sure.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I can
for
help
sure.
you edit it, man. Any way you help. I'm trying to get my name out there too.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you know, just keep it up, and yeah, if you guys have any more content, send it in. I'm gonna wrap this up for the CineMigrants for the depth of field. So if anyone, you know, seen any of this and wants to be involved, then obviously cinemigrants.com is the place to go. And Jano, what would you like to
Just
say?
last thought before
Yes.
everyone going on their way, because
Okay.
Cinemigrant, you know, the idea, the whole invention already has developed or already has changed a lot, because the first child was born 2 years ago, when Gabor and myself really wanted to show something what we created in our migrated life or in Australia. And the first title was the Australian movies, Hungarian source. So meaning that, you know, we are migrant filmmakers somewhere on the other end of the world. And now we just opened our door for an online cinema platform, CineMigrants everywhere. And if you guys have any other ideas how to develop in a different way, like collaborating,
yeah, collaboration is definitely, I picked it up straight away. It's definitely a good idea somehow to enable, you know, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for doing those films. It's beautiful. It really changing our life every time whenever I be watching those.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
See you.